Rule. So Ja Rule with his fall off, right? I mentioned the whole street things because Ja didn't really have the streets. So Ja wasn't so by that back at that point, right? You having the streets spoke to you. It meant that literally, but it also meant that the niggas who were buying the mixtapes, the niggas in the hood, were also fucking with it. So it meant that you had all your bases covered. So you had to put out material for the masses, but also material for the hood. So wasn't doing so back then, right? The ways you stay tapped in and stay relevant in the mainstream and in how can I say in the hip hop world is you had to go by flexing and drop a freestyle, right? Because that was the way to get the streets hot. Because they was gonna go ahead and clip that shit up. No, today we call clipping up, but they was gonna take that freestyle because somebody was gonna have recorded off the radio or the DJ themselves put that on their mixtape, and that was always the coolest shit ever. I mean, it really still is. It's just that whether rappers got to realize that yo, we in a different era, and y'all niggas may feel as though yeah, some of the best songs or the catchiest songs that or the most timeless songs are way behind us now. I'm not sure if these songs now are going to be timeless songs in terms of the newer artists, but at the end of the day, it's not. It's we have to contend or have to deal with the fact that if you rap or sing, you have to really come with that shit. If you come in with that shit, you can cut through millions of people. But you got to come with that shit. And so what we also seeing is like real talent, like a really talented artist, is very rare. So anyway, so I want to preface that with that, but also too, we got to think about what Ja's position was in the game and what 50's position was in the game. By that point, right? If you think about if it's about service, if it's about getting the game hot, Ja had about 3 years of dominance in music. I mean, and for the most part, like during the beef with 50, he was still hot. It was still like getting his name buzzing. It wasn't like he stopped selling records and everything. What really I think slowed Ja was those court cases. Because Murder Inc. had a lot of legal problems and whatnot. That he had legal problems, and you know, don't get me wrong. As an artist, it's really hard. You need confidence to be able to put out music and go perform it and put it together and whatnot. One of the most confident things you can ever do, even if it's whack, is put together a rap. You understand me? So, anywho, in terms of service, Ja gave the game a whole lot more than 50 did at that point. And actually, I want to argue that Ja probably gave y'all more years of hits. Like 50 had hits, but for the most part, if you just keep it in a stack, 50 in terms of like great verses, great features, great songs and whatnot. I mean, it's really those couple of years. It's really like those that like from if you. I mean, I would go from 50 cents to Future. I mean, that's really peak 50. You know, I would say from '03 to '05. That's when 50 was really good, right? But also part of 50's downfall was that 50 wasn't trying hard enough to become a better rapper and make better music. You know what I mean? And I'm not sure why that is, but it just wasn't clear. Like, yo, I'm trying to make the best music possible. It just felt more like he always was coming from the standpoint of, I'm the guy that comes through and sells a bunch of records, and I'm the guy, or he changed how niggas even looked at albums, right? Because before 50, niggas didn't really talk about album sales as much. You got to realize, Get What You Die Trying did Michael Jackson numbers, and it's still probably to me, that's one of the best hip hop albums probably ever. Which I haven't heard that album in hella long. If you play What Up Gangsta right now on my soul, what up, blood? What up, gangsta? It said I walk around like I got an S in my chest. Another fully auto and the vest in my chest. Man, DA, I want to play a court and I ought to duck a nigga down like it's a sport. Listen, let me tell you something. When I tell you that little girls in everywhere knew all the words to get Rich Die Trying, I'm trying to tell you it was a movement, man. But it was just those few years. Whereas Ja had a lot of huge records, right? You know, the Christina Milian Between Me and You record, right? The Holla was kind of like before that, right? Then he went on just a crazy run. The Bobby Brown record, what I do, um, and I know you're getting bored. What? That was fire. You know what I'm saying? So he had this long run, and 50 really convinced everyone to hate Ja Rule. And I think a part of it was mostly how can I say, this niggas hyping shit up and everything. But my point being is, this is a prime example of a black man providing something to you that was very useful to you, and actually giving you more quality product than someone else, and you being pushed into, how can I say, really a part of it was what made Ja more hateable was the fact that Ja was so successful at the time. Ja was one of the hottest rappers in the game at the time. Not only that, Ja was harmonizing, Ja was singing and everything. And 50 made y'all think that y'all didn't like when Ja was singing. Even though 50 was singing on the same album. He was singing on 50 was singing on 21 Questions, and then dissing Ja about singing on Back Down. But anyway, so what we about to address is, so Ja Rule got into an altercation the other night. It was on the it was on the same. I'm sorry. It was at the backstage of the Monica concert. So I'm gonna go ahead and play it real quick and let him talk about it.
Stage and sneak me, snuck a punch me from behind. Three tried to move.
Let me go this way.
Start walking to the stage and sneak me, snuck a punch me from behind.
Hold on, y'all.
Three tried to move, sneak. Three, and I'm just saying, it happens. It can happen to anybody. You know, it happens to players too. You know, it happens to players too. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, don't get no points for that. No real points for that.
Hold on,
But anyway, at that
again.
point, we scuffling.
I'm gonna bring it back.
See Artie diving across the mother, grabbing. He's tussling with it. I'm tussling with it. As I'm moving, you know, back, I stumble over some shit. Back Joe's there. Rich is there. It's just a melee. He's grabbing me back.
Who was Rich?
Back and making sure, you know, it's all right, trying to get between everybody that's going on. Security's coming. It's a melee. So anyway, it just kind of disperses and people start walking to the stage. And sneak me, snuck and punched me from behind. Three tried to move, sneak. Three.
I'm gonna say right now, whoever these niggas was, they was dirty. All right, and I need more. Honestly, this shit makes more sense if Ja owed some niggas some money, like he had a bad car lot deal. You know what I'm saying? They was selling some used cars. Listen, they had a whole fleet of Honda Civics. And the deal went bad, the milk went bad. That makes more sense, but you gotta realize, this is niggas. A part of what made Ja so hateable and what made it so easy to turn on Ja was Ja's success. Inherently, black people, this is 03, 04. Black people still don't even realize, nigga, you hate success. You associate everything negative about us with blackness. You know what I'm saying? You associate being ugly with blackness. You associate being poor with blackness. You associate being unable to have coherent sentences and speak as if you have sense with being black. You think that's black. You think that's blackness. Don't get me wrong. I'm quite niggerish myself, but I provide balance. I'm a Libra. I don't believe in like the signs and whatnot, like the whole astrology thing, but I feel like Geminis make it a point to live up to whatever Gemini's supposed to be, and Libras, I don't know. I mean, I guess that's balance. Anyway, balance, whatever. But anywho, believe it or not, them niggas probably snuffed them upside the head. They probably snuffed them upside the head. Listen, let me tell you something. Back in 03, when Ja had the braids and he was at his most powerful, my nigga, you couldn't deal with Ja like you couldn't handle Ja back then. Yo, you had girls talking about how Ja was a sex symbol. Believe it or not, girls used to call this nigga a sex symbol. All right, I remember being in high school, and you know what? One of the first experiences you have with dealing with a guy with higher status than you, other than maybe the dude in your school, is seeing how girls will look at a rapper. Because they're under those lights, because they on that poster, it's hard for you to understand, yo, they look a lot more appealing, lot more pop. I remember my girlfriend at the time telling me how handsome Cassidy was. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't saying nothing wrong with Cass. I'm just saying, like, if you told, how can I say? Yeah, if you told, a young girl, a girl that's like 14, 15, hey, back in the day, this guy was pretty popular and like, yo, girls really liked him. You know what I mean? But anyway, so. But again, that hate, and also that hate in your bedroom, which kind of takes us to our next point. I'm gonna play a little more of this. It's not really much to really talk about. So, Ja was at the Brandy and Monica concert. They don't say who these guys are, but I just thought it was interesting to talk about because again, black men are always dealing with other niggas hating on them, bro. Cause guys, let me tell you something. When you ain't got shit going on, you're never a target. When you not popping, you never a target. It's either on all fronts. If you got anything popping in life, you got a nice car, you got money coming in, you fucking with bitches, all that shit, you are a target. It's a target on your back.